Hi everyone, welcome back to our Joseki series. I am Ryan. Today I will show you more josekis for 3 to 4 dan players with the 3-4 point. So we start with the 3-4 and a high approach. Now today I will go through some of the points that we covered, but we may have skipped some details in. So we have the low pincer, and white attaches into the corner. When black hanes and white pulls back, black extends. So right now, there are some variations where white plays this knight's move. The meaning of this knight's move is that if black extends like normal, when white exploit this weakness, given that white has the ladder, white cuts, black would have to connect through the first line, because if black connects through here, then this stone would get laddered with the aid of this stone here. So if black has to connect via the first line, then white ataris, white captures, and then black extends again. So notice that in this case, this white stone is in a much better position. So originally, it was here compared to the original joseki. So you can refer back to our previous video for that one. And because of that, black has a move to counter it, and it's a very interesting move. It's actually here. So the meaning of this move is, so normally white would definitely extend, and then black would then extend out to help the stone. Now if white tries to exploit that weakness, black would use this stone. So now if black extends in and cuts, so now because of this stone, there's now a weakness for white there. So there are a couple of possibilities now. If white connects, then black would extend, and black would have a very nice territory up there, while here it's not very thick for white. The correct move for white is actually to atari. Now, if black connects, then white hanes, black ataris, and then white has two options. The first is to connect under, and then black would extend, and white would capture the 4 stones. This variation is usually said it's good for white because the outside is not too thick, and these 2 white stones are still definitely not dead. But if black connects the 4 stones, which you might be wondering, then white would just extend out. And now white is all connected out, and it doesn't seem like a good result for black either. White could atari and take the outside. Now, then black would hane to capture the corner, and white would get sente. So this is actually a decent result for black, but it was free for white to pick there. So many times it's not very good for black to connect, but now black has a nice move, which is actually to counter atari. And if white captures, the white has fallen for the trap. Then black would atari. If white connects, white generally has to connect because this ko is way too big for an early game. So white would have to connect, and then black extends into the corner. And notice that here, these 3 white stones is in danger. So, and also obviously this corner group. So now white is definitely in a very bad position now. So taking the ko was, taking that 1 stone was falling for the trap. So the correct response for white is just actually to extend. The important thing here is that if black ataris, then now these 2 stones or the corner will die. So black cannot atari on the top. Instead, black ataris here, white connects, black extends, white captures, then black has to extend somewhere here to protect this push and cut, and then white would extend over here somewhere. So this completes this very big joseki. So notice that compared to the previous variation, white captured a stone, so white is much thicker. Even though black got slightly more territory, this is generally a more preferred result than just connecting and in the previous variation. So this is a very important way to counter, so as black, to counter white's knight's move there. So when white plays the knight's move, this is a very nice move to counter that. So now we'll move on to our next shape, which is actually related to a recent shape that has changed a lot by our computers, which is the two-space high pincer, and white makes this large knight's move. This move used to be a very complicated joseki, and it has a very special name, which I actually don't know in English, but anyway, the two-space high pincer and large knight's move. So this used to be a joseki where black would sacrifice a very large corner and gain benefit elsewhere. So when white descends here, then when black cuts, and if white had a stone here, then and this ladder, then white would capture the corner and black would sacrifice that to make benefit elsewhere. So this used to be a well-explained, almost joseki type whole board variation. But what has come out recently is that during this joseki, that after the large knight's move, when black attaches, white hanes, black extends, and white extends here, and when black makes that jump, actually white could push, and when black connects, white pushed. And then there are a couple of variants, but they're more or less similar. When black hanes and connects, so this is one of them, white captures and black cuts the stone off, then white ataris, black connects. So this is one of the variants. The other one being black cutting directly. So instead of hane here, black would cut. In this case, white would hane and connect, and then atari, and then black connects. All of these variants are relatively similar. And it's not actually that we didn't see that white could push through, but it was generally believed that it was not good for white to push through because it gave black thickness at the outside, and that was more than enough to account for the loss of territory in the corner. But you might notice that the recent trend is that we take territory more often now, and it's much easier to reduce reduce influence. So nowadays, many players prefer white more in these situations, in that in these variations where white takes a big corner, it's easy because white takes sente, so white could easily limit off these outside influences. So this is sort of more of a shifting view, but then again, we can't disregard these old joseki variations. We should keep them in mind and pick them where it applies to your case in the game that you're playing. You might notice that before, when we talked about the 3-4 point and the white approaches high, that when black attaches, white extends here. And when black blocks, white makes this hane. This is actually a relatively common case when white has a stone here and in this opening. So generally, white wants to develop on this side, so white chooses to hane over on this side. So here we'll talk about, and when black extends, then white could atari and make the tiger's mouth. So this is actually a very simple variation, and black generally ignores that shape and comes in to separate these two white groups. Instead of extending, black also has the option of connecting. When black connects, white extends. Be careful here not to hane, because this is it looks like black could benefit here and then jump out, but actually black ended up in gote, and also white's shape is relatively strong in the center. So this is not a very good result for black. Instead, black should jump out directly and white makes the tiger's mouth. So this is another variation where black takes sente, takes territory, and white develops towards the lower side. In this variation, actually, white could hane first. And most of the time, black would block, and then white could get that tiger's mouth again. This hane is good because now when black plays here, it's no longer sente. So there's a slight difference there. Now if black doesn't respond there, black could play on this side directly. But then when white goes into the corner, it's sente because now this push weakness. So black has to connect. So white got more territory in this case. And then white could extend or do whatever. So haneing is slightly risky, but generally white could get this hane. Instead of connecting, black could also descend. This is more territory oriented. Now white extends and black pushes a few more times, and now black has the choice of tenuki or keep playing locally. Black could, in some cases, black could clamp here, and I would like to talk about some of this variation. Clamping here is reliant on the ladder again, which is when black cuts and white ataris here. Absolutely, in no case, but black could let. If white cannot capture black, then these three stones would be captured. So if white cannot capture black, white cannot descend. But if white has the ladder, then white descends down and black extends and extends out to the side. So it seems like white has the stick but hasn't gotten much benefit elsewhere. But actually, this is a very neutral situation. It's actually an even result because in the corner, black has lost a lot of territory because of this first line stone. Later, white could exchange that and connect back. So black does not have much territory in there. When white turns, this is a very big move again, and there's only a few points in the corner as a result. Similar to in this shape, later when white could pincer here, this black's group is not totally settled. So black still has to worry about some living situations in there. So keep that in mind, that some josekis it seems that might be good for one side, but it's important to note the follow-up shapes and keep those shapes in mind in there. So you might notice that in this video, I have intentionally avoided some variations, which is related to avalanches. Now, I'll leave that for you guys, We will talk about similar shapes in our following videos. If you have any questions about today's Joseki problems, leave us a comment below and go to our website. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe below. I am Ryan Lee. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.